This video is to give a few tips, and the first one is about a different way to add contrast to a picture. The effect is to add much more pop to an image when you bring it out, and it is especially effective in architecture. The system uses Unsharp Mask, but is not the same as sharpening. The process here was the basis of the clarity editing in Camera Raw. The image we are going to use was one taken at the Welcome Centre in London, and is a picture of a spiral staircase reflected in a glass wall. So we go to Filter and Sharpen, and then Unsharp Mask. So normally in Unsharp Mask we would use a fairly small bigger for amount and a even smaller one for radius, something like this. For this system though we use a much larger amount, something like that, and a fairly similar amount for radius, which you'll see is what really brings it out. And threshold is going to be 0, and see here from the preview, very different. Now, one thing to bear in mind is that the process does increase highlights, and we have to be careful about that. So a simple way around this is simply to add a layer mask, and then use a black brush, and quite a high opacity will do, and then just use that to reduce the increase in highlights. So that's very straightforward to do. Right, the next tip is about creating a zoom blur effect using Radial Blur in Photoshop. The picture we're going to use was taken on last year's Tour de France. The picture was a day when there was a team time trial where the teams raced together. So we go to Filter and then Blur, and then from the dropout we go to Radial Blur. Now we could alter the amount first, so then that shows up on the preview box. And next we choose either spin or zoom. Spin is not really suitable, so we use zoom, and use the quality as good. Now we can also sort of change the center point of the image. Now a problem with this method is that the preview does not show on the picture, only in the box. And it's quite difficult to get the center of the image exactly where required, especially where it's being shown on a square box and using a rectangular picture. There has been no improvement in this in Photoshop CC. For this reason, when using zoom blur, I prefer to use Topaz lens effects. This shows the preview on the picture. So we now have quite a nice zoom. The disadvantage is that there's no clear center of interest. So we get around this by using a layer mask and selectively remove the effect from the riders in the picture. So add a mask, and we go for a black brush. So we're removing the zoom from basically from the riders. Now we can sort of change the opacity to gradually build this up. So a lower opacity. Now just to give the viewers a better idea of exactly what's going on, we can sort of have a much lower opacity to add a little bit of detail to the background. So use the square brackets to increase the size of the brush. So following car here. Perhaps increase the opacity a little bit for this. Bit more detail in the car behind them. Now this looks a lot better. We've got a clear idea what's going on. We've got the zoom effect to add the feeling of speed, and a centre of interest here with the line of riders. And that's the end of this video.